You know, I used to tell my son we have two rules in our house. The first rule is that if you want to be a man, you got to love Jesus. Two is always do what you said you're going to do, because your word matters. As my son gets older and more mature, that he's become more defiant. Hopefully not because of my rules, but probably because of me. You know, when I think about leading my son, I want to do better. I need to stop focusing on being a better leader, probably put more attention into being a better follower. First, let me tell you, I've been down a road of self-destructive behavior lately, whether it's quitting boards that I've been on, forgoing friendships, quitting accountability groups, indulging, staying up late, binging shows, forgetting about this healthy lifestyle. I stopped working out, and I keep telling myself it's okay. I know it's probably not. And most people might look at that and say, wow, he's really mastering the art of not giving a shit. And that's fair, it's partially true. But really what I think that I'm doing, whether I realize it or not, because I've been down this path before, is reinstilling the confidence that I have in myself. Because if I don't have confidence in myself, how do I expect anyone that I love to want to follow me? Also, you know, I'm on crutches for 6 weeks, so I don't really have a lot of options. A lot of people want to talk about leadership, what it means, how to be a better leader. A lot of people have opinions on leadership. And I'll tell you, this is mine. You know, when I think about my life, more specifically, my past, the most significant thing I've ever done, like give up alcohol 10 years ago, I think it's easy for people to look at that and say, wow, that's what it is. But it's not true. The turning point in my life actually came a year later when I had to give my testimony in front of a group of strangers and tell them the truth about who I am. Because in that moment, that was the turning point where I decided that I don't care what you think. And I started listening to my gut, asking myself, well, what do I think? And what do I believe? And here we are, almost a decade later, and I can't stop thinking about leadership. And I'm doing this because I don't think it's necessarily about what most people think leadership is. I think it's more about how you learn it. Think of it this way. Let's say you're working under somebody who is a terrible leader. I'm talking dog shit leadership. Scratch that. You're working under that leader, but no one at all on the entire team follows that person. Nobody. In fact, they follow you more than they follow the so-called leader, but you're not in that role. And let's say the only thing standing in between you and that leader isn't skill, it isn't management expertise, it's just simply time. They had been at the company longer. Why are you just not fulfilling the role that everyone already thinks that you have? I mean, leadership doesn't just have to follow bureaucracy, does it? Let's say the building literally started on fire. Yes, that can be technically a metaphor, but who knows, maybe the building did start on fire. Who's the team gonna look to for a fix? Is it the guy that's a natural leader that everyone already looks to anyways, or the guy that's got leader on their business card that tells everyone they're a leader? You already know the answer, because when the smoke fills the room, you're gonna witness something special happen. A natural leader is gonna emerge from the smoke, and a bunch of people are gonna look to that leader for guidance. And in case you're wondering which camp I fall in, I'm gonna be the guy standing up with a list full of ideas and a plan to get us the hell out of here. I don't care what you think you know or how well you think you know it. I'm going. You coming? Man, I get fired up about leadership for two reasons. One, I don't think leadership can be taught. I know it can't be taught. It can be learned, but it can't be taught. And two, you either are a leader or you are not. Period, dot, period. You can't send off for a kit just chock full of books and exercises that tell you how to become a leader. You've got to get out there and live your life. To me, that's just a fact. You can call me arrogant, you can call me biased, you can call me whatever you want. Also, you can rewind the tape. Remember, I don't care what you think. But there is something that we can instill in people to open the door for leadership so that they can learn it on their own the way it was intended. By giving them the confidence to overcome the adversity that accompanies failure, that produces this experience that one day gives them the resilience to stand up and pull themselves out of a burning building rather than follow somebody whose only claim to leadership is their appearance or worse, their title. Gross. Well, I got another example. So listen up, dads. Remember when you're a kid and you don't get any playing time, and the only way to get playing time is to go have a conversation with the coach about what you need to do to get back on the field? Well, that's a pretty hard conversation to have for a young person that's never had a hard conversation before. And I get it. It fosters some sort of leadership development. But isn't it a cop-out? Well, how many of those same coaches are having those difficult conversations with those same kids, telling them the truth? None. Are we hypocrites telling these kids to have hard conversations that they've never had, all while we promote leadership development, saying to ourselves and the community that we're building up the next future generation of leaders? If that's our approach, we might want to go get our leadership back from the coat check because it's shit advice. Coach K, Tom Izzo, I don't know, one of these coaches once said, average players want to be left alone. Good players want a pat on the back. And great players want to be told the truth. If it's our kids, if it's our players, if it's our colleagues, if we continue to not communicate, if we continue to not be honest, to not tell the truth, we're going to create complacency. And then eventually, we're going to be blindsided by the words, "I quit." You listening, dads? That's on us. It's on us. The irony of all of this is that we spend an enormous amount of energy complaining or talking to somebody about someone else's poor performance than we do having hard conversations with people to their face. And yet, our business card still reads director or VP. When you know where you stand with someone, you can change where you're standing. When you have the courage to confront somebody about what they're doing wrong or what they're not doing at all, and you demonstrate by showing them how to do it, not just telling them how to do it, you let them know that you care. And when you go with them, I mean really tell them what they're doing wrong. And in the same breath, tell them that you still struggle with your own shit. You do two things. You give them confidence. You give them resilience. And then there's this other thing that you do. You demonstrate leadership without having to prove or tell somebody that you're a good leader. Simply by having a hard conversation. Ever done that? And I can tell you this with a 100% honesty. Every single leader that I've ever looked up to, every leader that I've ever admired, all had this one thing in common. They were never undefeated. Don't tell somebody to do something you're not willing to do yourself. Don't tell somebody to have hard conversations that you're not willing to have. And lastly, and this one gets me, don't tell somebody that they need to work on themselves when you're not willing to work on yourself. You know, we preach this idea of leadership. We buy books on leadership. We tell everybody else they gotta read these books on leadership. We hire coaches who've never led a thing in their life. Yet we stay tucked inside of a box that society says that we need to follow instead of doing the hard shit that only leaders know how to do. Fail. Fail. It's okay to fail. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to cry. It's okay to struggle. It's okay to take chances. It's okay to suffer. It's okay to lose your job. It's okay to admit you were wrong. It's okay to compromise. But how do you know? Because I've been all these things, and I'm still here. I don't care how well you think you know how to lead. If you want to show someone how to lead, it starts with how well you follow.